In this hub nut video, I'm going to see if fitting this makes any difference to the Fox. So I'll explain what this is. This is the shroud, the missing shroud that several people have identified and I completely missed, but should sit on top of the radiator and help direct airflow through the rad. And I do have another radiator to fit to Foxanne. It's sitting in a box just there, in fact. But before I do that, I would just like to see if this makes any difference at all to the fact that the temperature gauge seems to read very high once we're up to higher speeds. So I'm going to get the bonnet off. I've just made it easier to have roadkill moments with this car. And I'll bring you in for a look at the situation, because I need to assess it myself. So yeah, here's where that panel goes. I'm just not quite sure how it goes. Oh, I see. So that goes there, so the airflow can't come up into the engine bay, it must go through the radiator. So that looks like little self-tappers to me, which is good because I have a box of self-tappers. So yeah, it's going to be as simple as me screwing that in, and then I'm going to go for a test drive. And the test drive today is going to be to the Shrewsbury Steam Rally, which I'm really looking forward to. I'll try and do some footage, but I might not do too much, I'm not sure. We'll see what sort of a day it is. I might have time, I might not. But primarily it's a testing run, because Foxanne hasn't really been anywhere since we went down to Bromley for the Bromley pageant, and which is now due to go to the Festival of 1000 Classics this coming weekend at the time of filming. It's the 1st of September on the Sunday, and I just want to make sure she's happy before we do that. So I'm going to bolt this into place, we'll go for a drive to Shrewsbury, and we'll see what's what. Oh, it's not a bad old morning for chasing a Range Rover across the beautiful Welsh scenery. Trying to work out if that's a roof tent on it, it could well be. Marvellous piece of street furniture. Oh, hello, TD5 badge on the back of it. Interesting. There's an interesting conversion idea, a TD5 in a Range Rover Classic. That's not without appeal. Ooh. Posts sticking out in the road, lovely. Well, so far she's running just above middle, but we're climbing a hill now at speed. Let's see where the gauge goes. Well, the temperature gauge is still doing crazy things. We're going downhill on a light throttle and it's up near the H. Just no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't make any sense. Well, made it with no problem. We'll now go and have a mooch around the show. Promises to be quite an interesting day. This is just a general car park. This isn't a car show. I haven't booked her in as an exhibit because I wasn't sure I was actually going to make it, but here I am. We'll go and see what the show's all about. We made it back from Shrewsbury Steam Rally, thankfully without steam, but the gauge was very hot to the point I took the hood off again, or bonnet as we call them here. So yeah, I've got that off. I've got all this open at the moment because I plan to change the radiator. Today is Monday. I'm away Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which means I've got the remnants of today and Friday to try and get this car ready to go away to a show next weekend on the Saturday, because I'm going to go stay with my friends near the show. So yeah, radiator needs doing on this, but I'm getting sidetracked because Daewoo Matiz is over here. I just started her up. She hasn't run since Friday night, and she started first turn of the key didn't sound sluggish. So that's good. That suggests the battery has recovered. I've put it on a slow charge and it does seem to have picked up and is now working. But I did find a split in the intake pipe here, which is less good. I'm trying to tape it as best I can because that's all I've got. I'm not going to find another Daewoo Matiz intake pipe on a bank holiday Monday. So yeah, I'm going to have to hope that survives. She has been feeling very sluggish under full throttle, especially hill climbing. So maybe that was it. Not a bad enough leak to affect idle, but as soon as you're loading the engine, yeah, not good. So hopefully that tape will be an improvement. I prefer to use aluminium tape. I can't find it. How very me. But yeah, all good there. I'm not very happy with the state of the coolant. The coolant was brand new last year and it's gone all orangey and horrible again. Because I think someone used K-Seal or something in there. So yeah, all sorts of cruddy deposits. Might explain why the heater's not very good. So I think after the New Zealand trip, another cooling system flush will be going on here. That's not all that's going wrong. I've got problems with the CityRover as well. You'll notice this really bright light. That's because it seems to have a HID headlamp installation. Technically not legal, so it shouldn't be there. And even worse, on the dashboard I have the main beam light, but this is actually dip beam I discovered last night. So I was driving along on what I thought was dip beam, but it was actually on main. No one flashed me, but yeah, when I went for main beam, the light level dropped, which is the opposite of what should happen. So that's not good. I shouldn't have driven it anyway, because get a nice chirp to tell me the lights are on, even though the engine's running. Yeah, because the thermostat is still knackered. And I just want to quickly deal with another point. When I was doing my initial report of buying this car and bringing it back, I said the fans were running when I got here. What I forgot to say is the fans had been running for at least an hour. Every time I stopped and came to a junction, I was like, the fans are running, despite the fact the coolant temperature is right down low. The gauge is working, but with the thermostat jammed open, or missing, haven't discovered yet, it's overcooling. So the coolant temperature is probably, you know, 40, 50 degrees. It's not coming up on the gauge. So yeah, the fans were running all the way through the village, and when I got here, it isn't unusual for cooling fans to run after you've turned the car off. A lot of cars will do that because there's heat soak and the temperature genuinely can go up even when you've turned the engine off, because suddenly there's no airflow, no coolant movement. So that in itself is not unusual. Renault 21s used to be a sod for it, doing it all the time. But it is an issue if the fans are running when clearly the coolant temperature is low. So that's what I was trying to get at. So thank you to the hundreds of people who said, oh no, cars do that, that's entirely normal, mate. Not in this case. I just didn't explain it clearly enough. But yeah, I can't do anything about that. I am going to remove the HID kit. It's even got the conventional bulbs in the glove box, and hopefully if I remove all the trickery associated with the HID kit, because there's a fair bit of it, I will have proper working headlamps again. I'm guessing the headlamps are quite crap, which is why someone fitted a HID kit. I'm not sure why else you would do that, but yeah, not technically legal, going in the bin. I thought I might as well just get on and do it. So I've been flushing the coolant out and all the engine block and everything, and here is the new radiator. Oh, hold on, I've confused my gimbal. That's the way we want to be, Mr. Gimbal. Don't want to break the new gimbal. So you can see the new radiator is broadly the same format, but we've got a slant on the top rather than it being flat. So that raises the expansion cap, not the expansion cap, the radiator cap a bit, which should make bleeding easier. It's also a triple row, so it should offer more cooling. This pipe seems to be at a slightly different angle, and also slightly smaller, so that might be interesting. Well, new radiator's in and running. The exhaust blow on the downpipe, manifold to downpipe joint, is getting worse. That's not great news. Tidy some tools away. because I think we might be approaching time for a test drive. Full complement of tools available. So I've got the shroud fitted again. I've added antifreeze as well as just your regular water. Your water. Camera gauge is climbing steadily but not alarmingly. But the real proof of the pudding will come from the driving, so let's go and do that. Right, temperature gauge is about 2/3 at the moment. We've just done a bit of hill climbing, but I was getting held up by tourists. I want to be able to give a full bore for an extended period. So we'll do the next section and then see what happens. Well, the gauge is still riding a little high, a bit close to H for comfort. So let's get the old infrared out and see what we're reading. Oh, it's in Fahrenheit. That's not convenient. There we go. That's not alarming. That's not alarming. That's definitely not alarming. Yeah, none of these numbers are alarming. See if we can see through to the radiator core. Cool at the bottom. Hotter at the top, so I think everything is fine here. So while it looks like the gauge is lying, yeah, the exhaust manifold's quite hot, but the engine and the pipework is not. So I think really we can conclude that everything is actually working as it should be. I'm still glad I've got a bigger radiator fitted, because it gives me more capacity if things get snarled up. But yeah, that's where the gauge is sitting, but that's apparently not alarming. It did rise a little more than that when we were hill climbing, but it's just sitting here ticking over at the moment. And I'm just going to put this away somewhere so I know where it is. This drawer is a good place. Yeah, it's not going up at the moment, is it? So yeah, I think we're learning that something is wrong with the sender, maybe. That seems good to me. So it's a bit hard to draw dramatic conclusions. I guess I'll just have to see how she goes on the trip on Friday. Do need to try and sort that exhaust clamp out. That's going to be a bit of a sod to do. The access is terrible. Yeah, I've got some dodgy screws on that manifold. What I need is another manifold, but I don't have another manifold, so that's not getting sorted anytime soon. So yeah, I shall pack her away. I've got a few days away in Myrtle the Matiz, and then we shall see what happens with Project Fox. So hopefully she will make it to the Festival of 1,000 Classic Cars at Cholmondeley in Cheshire, 1st of September. Let's hope so anyway. Right, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Don't forget to stay tuned for some exciting event news. And I shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Yes, exciting event news. With the kind help of the Vale of Rydal Railway, we're going to have a Hubnut Social in Wales. It's about time. It's finally going to happen. And the plan is on the Saturday the 12th of October, I'm going to have a mini meet down at Aberystwyth at 10 o'clock ahead of the 10:30 train. So we'll go and meet down there where there's quite a big car park, so that's Aberystwyth. And then I'm going to come back up to the station while people enjoy the train ride. And believe me, October really is the time to enjoy it. All the autumn colours will be out, it'll be spectacular. And I'm going to try and get as many of the fleet together as I can at the Devil's Bridge end. So various members of the fleet will assemble in Devil's Bridge. And the train gets into Devil's Bridge at 11:30. I will aim to be there before that. And yeah, promises to be a lot of fun. Two Hoots Cafe at the Devil's Bridge end would really like a steer on numbers. That they offer food. I'll try and link to a menu if I can. Pre-orders may be better on the food just to help spread it out. I don't know how many people are coming, so if you are planning to come, please do email ian@hubnut.org, but subject Hubnut Social. And I can pick out the emails and put them to one side and see how many people are coming. It's worked really well as a guidance system for the previous meets. Everyone who was going to turn up pretty much emailed, so that was really helpful. Thank you for that. It just helps ensure we have a good flow of food and cake and tea. And that's not all. I'm making a weekend of it as I celebrate the end of my life here in this little sector of Wales, potentially. Don't know what I'm doing when I come back from New Zealand. So on Sunday the 13th of October, I'm going to head down to the Internal Fire Museum. It's down towards Cardigan on the A487, or just off the A487, the beautiful coast road that goes down the edge of Wales. And it's a full running weekend for them. So they'll have the steam room in action, lots of internal fire engines, pumping away in various ways. It's a fantastic museum. You may have seen my video. So that's going to be the Sunday. I plan to be there when doors open first thing in the morning and stay till at least lunchtime. So yeah, do come along to one or both days. But again, please do indicate what you plan to do. It will really help us out. Yeah, really can't wait. It's going to be fun times. So yeah, email to let us know. And yeah, I shall see you in a future video or at a Hubnut Social. Farewell.